Josh. You attended Sheldon Clark High School between the years of about 97 to 2001, and you were on the wrestling team. Chances are you were a state champion. So, sir, what's your name?
Joshua Preece.
Where'd you go to high school?
Sheldon Clark.
What year did you graduate?
98.
And you are a two-time state champion, right?
Yes, I am.
So
I was on both team state championship teams too.
In 94 and 95?
Was it 94, 95 or 93, 94?
It was 94, 95. Yeah, 94, 95. Yeah. So you've got the first name of Josh, which you had. We got Josh Stepp and Josh Muncie to add to that list. You went to Sheldon Clark, and you are a state champion wrestler. So I think that's in the Martin County Constitution over there, that if your first name was Josh, and that time you had to be on the wrestling team. So, man, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. A lot of people have asked about when we're going to get with you. I know me and you've been talking on Facebook and stuff for about a year now. Finally got it lined up, and man, I'm glad that you're able to join us.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to be on there.
We've met with Chris Goss. We've met with Bruce. We've met with Scott Rhodes. All those early 90s guys. And it's a great story for everybody that, we've got to meet with so far. But how do you find wrestling at Sheldon Clark? Does Matney come to you and just, grab you in the hallway and say, you're now on the wrestling team, or how does it work?
Actually, man, back then he was still starting it up. Okay. They were still young. Chris had won state, and it kind of built the popularity up. Right. But while Chris was in high school, I think I was in sixth or seventh grade, and that was back when Inez High School, the old Inez High School, across from the First Commonwealth Bank there, where the actual Social Security building sits now. And we would practice there, and then I think we ended up going into like where the band room is, full of mats, and a bunch of young kids. I didn't really, I liked it, but it was like my seventh grade year, the second year I did it. It was a little bit better because a lot of us guys growing up at that time, we were rough kids. Yeah. It wasn't nothing to get a busted nose, your lip cut down, your eye cut, anything and everything. But it's just the way it was then.
I completely understand, and it's people, I guess, not from eastern part of Kentucky, especially the eastern part like we are. We're just a rough bunch all the way around. And I guess that's just the way we've had to, we've kind of grew up being that way. Parents, whoever it was that raised you, you had to fight for what you had and then fight to keep it. And it just it come out on the wrestling mat, and people like, Coach Jim Matney was able to get the guys on this team, whether at Johnson Central or Sheldon Clark, to focus that roughness into an athletic event. And he was very successful with it.
That man was a wizard.
He sure
in
was.
Many ways. All the way up till close to his passing, I still called him coach. I still call him coach.
Yeah.
15, 20 years after high school, and my son was, competing in the middle school state tournament, and I'd seen Coach down there, and he had his Johnson Central stuff on, but that was actually the first time my son got to see kind of like, I did know a lot of people because we couldn't hardly make it across to even go do weigh-ins because everybody was coming down. It was like Chris was coming down, and Coach, but it was different. There wasn't phones and all this other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach Matney just had a way to get your attention. It wasn't really your attention, is he would challenge you.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, but I think you can do better, like little things. That's when that song Loser Baby come out. He would not let you listen to something like that while you was practicing on the mats because you don't talk about yourself as being a loser.
That's true.
Um,
That's true. And not to interrupt you, but he has that famous viral locker room speech about where he says, you know, we are who we are. We're boys from the mountains, from the hollers, from the small towns. And I think the line that a lot of people, it resonated with him, is he says, don't you let anybody come in here, especially from a big city, be able to walk out of here thinking they're better people than you are. And that is something that so many people that play football wrestled for him, whether it was at Sheldon Clark, Johnson, Central, wherever it may be. I mean, they feel that in like their DNA. It's like ingrained in them, no matter if they're from whatever part of the state, whatever part of the world. I may be from, you know, little old Mark County. I may be from little old Johnson County, but daggone it, you're not better than me.
Oh, yeah. And we had ways of showing people that they wasn't.
Yeah. So you get into high school, and you were saying you were on the 94 and 95 state championship teams.
I was on the varsity team as an 8th grader.
Okay.
And it was actually me and Josh Stipp both. And because we were about the same age and same weight, but there wasn't a lot of middle school wrestling at the time.
I got you.
So we was practicing and training with the varsity guys, and we was, right there in the thick of it with them. Bruce, he was a monster compared to the other heavyweights. It was like a full-grown adult wrestling middle schoolers is what it is like. Because he'd pick them up and carry them around on the mat like they wasn't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew, McKinley, all them boys, they had that ability just, to put it on.
Yeah.
But now, there was a lot of tough classes, weight classes, and a lot of tough people inside the weight classes. And at that time, there was divisions of the school, but not in the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's
still like that in Kentucky. There's no, it's not class like public, private, or 1, 2, 3. If you win it, you're the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we started going around the state doing videos, and people, starting to find the channel, starting to find some of the older, the 90s guys. And, we have Bruce on the channel. We have Josh on the channel. We have Joey's 1999, where he comes runner up, and the several people from the other end of the state, or even in Louisville area, they'll be like, there's enough steps in Martin County to build a staircase. I'm like, you're right. That's true. Yep. That's true. So this is your 1997 119-pound review video. You're a 2-time state champion, 97, 98. So let's talk about your 1997 bracket real quick. The first round, you are wrestling Justin Barnes from Fort Knox, and you win that by a tech fall, 16-1.
Yeah. See, that was my junior year, so I had an injury my sophomore year.
Okay.
I was out most of the year, but I had enough matches in to qualify for district. I made it all the way to state, and then I re-injured my shoulder wrestling one of the guys from Woodford County. And actually, one of the assistant coaches, Kenny Jude, put my shoulder back in place, taped it to my body, and I finished the match. Well, after that, I lost. I was wrestling with one arm. But me and Coach, we was having a good cry session up in the stands. And we talked, and I told him, I said, Coach, I won't lose another match from this point on. And by Georges, I did not lose a match. Since up to that point until I got into the high school nationals.
Yeah.
But it was just something at that point. You got to have heart and passion behind it.
Right.
It's just like anything else. You nothing's given to you, and if it is, you don't respect it.
That's true. No, I agree with you on that 100%. I do. So you get a tech fall over Barnes from Fort Knox. You go to the quarterfinals. You're wrestling Jeremy Gyron from Connor, and you win that by a 12-3 decision. So you're in the semifinals. You're wrestling Mark Sproul from Seneca, and you win that by a tough 5-3 decision.
Yeah, I remember that one. He was a good wrestler too.
Mhm.
He had a lot of I think if I'm remember correctly, he was really strong upper body. I was a technical wrestler.
Mhm.
I had a move that actually me and Josh Stepp worked on together, wrestling a lot. It was an outside leg sweep.
Okay.
And we would make it like it was a dance, like you'd get them not paying attention, so you get them step, move, and then whenever they plant that foot, we'd swoop around and grab it. And coach was good about keeping us humble. I mean, at that point, there was Jeremy Rhodes, Scott Rhodes, me, Josh Stepp, JD. There was, I mean, John Stafford. There was a lot of guys on there with talent. So in order to keep your head down, you know, he would always make you like me and Josh Stepp, it was tech follow. I don't care if you can watch on 10 a guy in 15 seconds, that ain't nothing. He would always want us to run the points up, take them down, let them up, because we were getting practice, real-time practice, taking them down. It wasn't, you know, there was a method to everything he did. And you gotta love him for that.
Yeah.
He was like a diamond polisher. You take him a rough cut diamond or a chunk of coal, and when he got done with it, you know, you was getting sold on the up there in Manhattan on the big strip, you know.
Up there at Saks Fifth Avenue or whatever that big place.
Oh yeah.
So you are in the finals. You're wrestling Dan Knight from Woodford County.
He was the number one seed.
Yep, I believe he was. He was a senior that year. You were a junior, of course, and that was 1997. You know, you had JoJo Carr, you had Ian Horn, you had Chris Dunn. I mean, Woodford County had one of the best teams in state history that year, and you're going up against one of their projected, you know, number one seed, one of their projected state champions. So does Matney come to you and give you any advice, or does anybody that was, you know, there in your corner before you go out kind of give you like a last minute little piece of advice or anything?
Well, see, being 100% honest with you, me and Daniel wrestled at regional finals.
Oh, okay.
Right before that.
Yep.
And see, at that point, he had this leg hook he would do, and if you would take the bait, he would toss you. I mean, it worked on all kinds of people, and he got me with it at regionals. But we were right there on I was right on the out of bounds lines, and he didn't get the points. And once he hit that once on me, I mean, I was very good at adapting. But that first win, you know, it took the sale out of him losing that first one. So when we got out to the second one, he wasn't so eager to hit it as much.
Yeah. Well,
at that point, all the hoopla and the hoop about him, it was already gone. We'd already scrapped it once.
Yeah.
And you know, you get somebody that's used to winning and not having to put a lot of effort in it. When somebody, you know, takes it to them, it'll throw them off at first.
But no, listen, I agree with everything you're saying. And again, we'll make sure Josh Stepp doesn't hear this, but you had a great practice partner with Josh Stepp, didn't you?
Josh Stepp and Ben Bowen.
Yeah.
See, my junior year, Ben was a senior, and his cousin Tony would come around too. He was the 103 pounder when I was a freshman, and he was 106 when I was a sophomore, I think. It was one of those two, but and those boys look. You got to think. The way coach ran the list was if you wanted to be on, you know, on the list, be on the mat that weekend for the varsity team, you had wrestle offs.
Yep.
So you'd practice, and he would encourage the competition, trying to cut weight, do whatever. But it was all in making us better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, up to Jeremy Rhodes. Me and Jeremy Rhodes went to Gardner Webb together, and Dax Harris was also one of the guys on the Sheldon Clark wrestling team. Well, he was at Cumberland.
Okay.
And I got tickled the first college tournament we had. me and Jeremy and Dax was sitting in the middle of the mats, two different teams, but we was just all three sitting there. And then when the matches started, we was helping coach for each other because we would listen to each other because we'd already done it in high school.
I can believe that. I can believe that. 100% believe that. And you kind of led into a topic. We'll talk about your college a little bit later, because that not everybody, I guess, the more videos we do, the more people are, they're starting to realize just how many collegiate wrestlers, whether it was NAIA, Division II, whatever, that have actually come through Kentucky. So I love, being able to talk about that. So we are going to get the screen pulled up here.
That was a good match.
So as you can see, we've got the match video pulled up here. Josh, man, let's go back to 1997. You ready?
Oh, yeah. That was at the Frankfurt Convention Center, Farnham Dungeon.
That's correct. There you come out, man, with your hood on. And of course, Woodford County, not too far from Frankfurt. They got a big crowd. Take the photo. You're under the lights, big time. There you are in the red singlet. So what's your go-to takedown here, man? What are we looking to do?
I mean, it's that outside leg sweep.
Oh, yeah,
I would hook and shake the head, but if you watch, I'll get them to pull. I'll get them to plant all their weight on that foot, and then that's when once they plant it, I go. It's hard to defend because most people, when you're shooting your single legs, you're going straight in. You got out to the side, so you was able to get around them. And me, I had lanky arms and big hands.
Yeah.
But no, that's head control. You got to keep moving. I can hear it now, and I can't even hear it.
Right, keep moving.
He could lock you up. He could block you like that, man. And he had very strong grip too.
He looks to be pretty tall himself. Dan does. Dan Knight looks to be pretty tall.
Yeah, I can't remember how tall, but yeah.
Right there. Well, so you tried it right there.
Yeah. That was one thing about it. When I started, I was full speed all the way. But now, mind you, I would get up at 5:30 in the morning and run 2 miles before school.
Right.
And then I would be running. I had Coach Matney weightlifting and weightlifting and training my last period. So I was running that whole last period before practice. So my cardio was insane.
I was going to say, it sounds like your cardio was top notch.
Oh, yeah.
Did you play football for Sheldon Clark?
My freshman year, but after the freshman year, I didn't have no need for it. I was engulfed into the wrestling.
I got you. So the period ends there, and he wins the toss, he defers, and you take down.
Oh, I love going down. Look, that summer, I went to Granby camp. It was one of the top. It was the top 1 or 2 camps of the nation. Okay. Funny thing is, all those kids that was at that camp with me, we was all at high school nationals the next year.
Oh, okay. Where was that in? Where, Iowa?
No, that one was at Old Dominion.
Old Dominion, okay.
Yeah, it's Granby camp.
Okay, and right there you get hand control. That's good. That's fundamental wrestling 101, hand control. You turned in, but he still got a leg, but you're still pushing his head away.
Yeah.
You get your escape right there. We're neutral. I see you tried to lace that leg right there. I seen it coming.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know I had a game plan in my head, but right now I couldn't tell you what it is, but I'm looking at it and it's go.
Yeah. No, you've been on him the whole time. And that's something else too. I don't want to keep bringing up Josh Stett, but Josh Stett, man, he was in your face the whole time. If he didn't pin you, he was in your face the whole time. And you can tell you guys are practice partners here, just the way you guys you wrestle almost the same.
Oh yeah. Well, see, we would be now, mind you, our practices. Me and Josh would have a sauna suit on, underclothes, and then have sweats on top of it. And Coach Destiny practices was not easy or simple.
Right. There you go. You get a takedown.
Yep.
So
he hated being on the bottom of me.
Did he?
Because, oh yeah, I didn't do it so much my later, like my freshman and sophomore year. Man, I would tear people up with legs.
Mm-hmm. So he's trying like a shrug or some type of like Gazzoni right there to get you off of him. But there you go. You throw in some legs on him.
Breaking that base.
Yep.
Break his base. I could hear it now.
Period ends. He's going to take down. And right now the score is 3-0. You're on top 3-0. So there you go, trying like a spiral ride there, breaking down.
Yep. He's
trying to come out that back door.
And see, all that is Granby Camp stuff.
Is it?
Yeah. Woodford County, I don't know if he went or not, but I know that their coaches, they taught the Granby as well. I don't know about
him. Coach Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, Coach Clark's brother was the WVU's head wrestling coach at that time, too.
Fletcher, I believe. Is that his name?
I couldn't tell you that.
No. It was the Olympian, Nate Carr.
Yeah.
So he gets his 1 point escape. We're neutral now. The score's 3-1.
He's wanting to set up for that throw. That's what he banked everything on this throw. You'll see it because he'll let me get the leg, but then he'll hook around the inside of my thigh.
You do a good job stuffing that shot right there.
Oh, Coach would have Ken Choto come and do clinics with us during practice too.
That's a big name.
Yes, it is. He would teach us stuff like hammer hips. Somebody going to shoot on you, make them pay for it.
Yeah, no, that's true. And this whole time, I mean, you guys, this is the state finals, but you guys haven't stalled at all. You guys you've been 100% go the whole time.
And we probably had choice words saying between each other while we was wrestling. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm giving his first loss his senior year, the week before.
All right, there, I just said it, and they called you for stalling. So you're still trying stuff. You're still snapping. Looks like.
Oh yeah, I moved.
And that's the buzzer. You win it. 1997 119-pound state champion, man. And here you go, picked up by Jim. Man, what a great shot. And it's got got the medal ceremony.
I remember that. Oh,
watching it back, did it play out the way you remembered it? Besides you winning, of course.
Honestly, during that, it was just crazy. That was a lot to take in. I mean, that was another thing. Coach kept us humble. Yeah. Like, he did not like a showboat. And like, you'd get in trouble if somebody would try to come and talk to you or congratulate you and you didn't, give a proper response back. If you just blew him off the mark, he's like, hey, no, that ain't the way we do. We don't roll like that.
Yeah, no, even up until his sad, untimely passing, and he was like that with whether it was elementary school, middle school, high school, if it was just a random Tuesday night in the gym or the state finals, he was the same way, you know.
Oh yeah, he was.
After you shook after his wrestler shook their opponent's hand, then he would pick them up, do whatever. But it was always do what you got to do. Then we'll celebrate.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh man, I remember my freshman year. I didn't make weight for one of the matches, but it was when they changed it to 100, 106, and all that. And I cut to 100. I didn't make weight one time. And then after that weekend, we got back there. Coach told everybody, the whole team, he was like, "Well, he didn't make weight last week, so it's everybody's fault." And you had people like Jason Deskins, Eric Jewell, Anthony Preece, all these guys, man, they're funnier than hell, but at the time, they were brawlers just like it. So coach tells them they're gonna get in trouble if I don't make weight. Oh, and Bruce did, stuff like that. And they're all looking at me like, "Yeah, you're not eating no more of that." Or you want that orange? Okay, you can smell it, but that's all you get right now.
Yeah, so, man, if they put Bruce on the job, the muscles arrived, right?
Oh, oh, we used to have so much fun.
I can imagine. I've heard some of the stories that we can't tell them on this platform where YouTube will kick us off, but we've heard some of the fun Sheldon Clark stories from back in the day.
It's kind of like Vegas.
Oh what yeah, we'll have to save those one day for a pay-per-view video or something. But man, this is where we're going to end your 1997. Now, like we said, you're a two-time state champion. So guys, after you enjoy this one, go and watch the next video in the playlist. It'll be Josh's 1998 video. We'll see you guys in 1998.